Tom.
I'm Jerry.
Arguing with Tom and Jerry. Arguing.
He's Tom.
And he's Jerry.
We're back in business.
Well, I invited you, and it worked.
Wait a second. Why am I hearing you? Hello?
Hello?
Why am I hearing you through my phone when I've got earbuds plugged in?
I don't know. Maybe you should turn the speaker off on your phone.
I don't think it works like that. How about now?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We're good.
We're good. What's going on,
why,
Tom?
That's why we use the Riverside FM podcast application.
Fail safe. Foolproof.
It's number one.
It's number one. Tom, I was working on a theme song.
Yep.
Another one.
Okay.
What were you doing? That's what I was doing.
That's some loud ice.
That's what I was doing. What were you doing?
Are you implying that I wasn't doing anything?
You haven't said anything yet. I mean, I don't mean to be argumentative necessarily.
Well, what have you been doing?
I've been making a theme song.
I thought we already had one.
We have several, but I figure you can never have too many theme songs.
I don't know. I've just been thinking.
About what?
Well,
About podcasts?
I was thinking about, we had talked about it a little bit before, but I was thinking about procrastination.
It's a problem for me.
So one tool that you can use is to have a to-do list.
Yes.
And then you can see all the things that you're not getting done.
Yeah, I used to keep one I used to wear carpenter jeans all the time, and I always kept a small little memo pad in the side pocket, and I would have a list every day with little minus marks next to each thing, and then as I would do it, I would put a plus through it,
Right?
It was very satisfying. My life was very organized back then. Now it's chaos. I don't do that anymore.
It feels good to mark something off the list.
It does. Feels great to mark it off a list.
So I was like, what gets in the way of me marking things off the list? And I was thinking it's primarily wanting to do
Procrastination.
I want to do other things.
Yeah.
Like drinking and smoking.
That doesn't help.
If I weren't drinking and smoking,
Unless that was on your list. If that was on your list, problem solved.
right.
You
You just put drinking and smoking on the list, and then you've accomplished something.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, though, if the concept of having a list is just too much technology.
I don't know. It's pretty old school.
They had lists back in the caveman days.
I think it's a sign of being an organized person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anything negative about it.
Well, but what about the different roles that we play? And if it's easier, depending on your role, to not have a problem with procrastination. So, for instance, if you, Jerry, are the worker, and me, Tom, I'm the boss, then I can say, I want to get this thing done. And then just by virtue of thinking about it and telling you to do it, then I get to mark it off the list.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot easier then, right?
That's what the smart people do in this life. They get other people to do things for them.
What's so wrong with that?
Nothing. That makes you the smart one.
It does?
I think so.
You're the winner?
Yeah, you're the boss.
The boss is the winner.
The boss always wins.
So then the worker always loses.
The worker always loses.
So this makes me think of something else. Is like I was listening to a sports broadcaster the other day, and he said,
Do they make a podcast helmet so you can just wear mount it out there in front, like at an angle that will make you like not gain 50 pounds every time you're on the camera?
like a
You
selfie
know,
stick?
like it suck in your cheeks or something. It'll
Mm-hmm.
go ahead.
You got some vanity going on?
Maybe. Just I think it's more shock, really. Denial. Shock
Mm-hmm.
and denial more than vanity.
So if the worker is always the loser and the boss is always the winner, and I think this applies to all kinds of things, I was listening to a sports broadcaster, and he said, the Manchurian candidates are going to be really angry after that loss. And then the other guy says, yeah, I think the Manchurian candidates are going to be really focused after that loss. And then the sideline reporters said, I think the Manchurian candidates are going to be really hungry after the loss.
A lot of adjectives.
So I might be applying it wrong or understanding it incorrectly, but it reminded me of the reflexive property. So it's like is it if A plus B equals C, then C minus B equals A
Okay.
or something. And so I'm just wondering if you're angry and hungry and focused, then are you a loser?
Yes, as of that moment, you haven't made good on, you got to satisfy those psychological needs, or
Angry people are losers,
I think so.
and so are
They're
hungry
missing
people.
out. They're missing out on something, whether
And
it's
the
food,
hungry,
satiation,
mm-hmm,
satisfaction, bliss, happiness, enjoyment, peace,
mm-hmm,
harmony, you know, homeostasis.
mm-hmm.
That's all anybody wants. They just want like 72 degrees and no wind. Is that so much to ask?
That's what you want.
I think that's what everyone wants.
But some people are hungry, and that doesn't have anything to do with the weather.
No, that's true.
And then by virtue of the reflexive property of the
Okay,
sports analogy,
72
then the hungry
degrees.
people are losers.
I didn't mean a literal 72 degrees. That's just weather. But then you have like the 72
Oh, I got
degree
you. A metaphorical
equivalent
72 degree.
hunger wise.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the 72 degree equivalent comfort wise, just apply it across the board.
Yeah,
Homeostasis.
got it. Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. So those people are the winners.
It's balance. Everyone just wants balance.
They do.
Harmony.
Mm-hmm. I think that through most of human history, people want an imbalance.
What makes us strive for imbalance?
I'm
What
in
makes us
charge,
that's a
and then
So we're
they're
talking
the
about ease. We all want ease, but we strive after dis-ease. We're all diseased.
mm-hmm.
Why do we do that to ourselves?
We feed on that.
Yeah, that's a problem.
It's because we want an imbalance.
Is it because we've been told that we want an imbalance? I don't think anyone inherently wants an imbalance. You're bombarded with, you know, uh, things to make you strive after imbalance. You need this. You want this. Don't you want to be like these people?
Right,
Don't you
right.
want to look like this? Look how happy they are.
That's as old as as human history, though, right? Or is that a result
Mate,
of technology?
well, it probably is old, and
Look at Thor. Look at Thor's rock.
bet you wish you had a hammer like Thor.
Correct. Or Thor wasn't a caveman, I guess, but I don't. What's a normal caveman name?
Like
Grog.
Hank or something.
Hank.
Grog,
Look at
okay.
Grog.
Okay.
Um, I think that for most of humanity, the human being has been striving to be better than the other human being or to have a leg up on them.
Competition.
Competition is inherent among the animal species. And the hungry ones are losers.
Right, because to grow, you have to consume something else. You know,
Like,
to climb the ladder of existence, you have to take something less or equal or maybe even greater, I guess, but you consume it, you take it, it becomes part of you, and the one that gets took got.
and they're the loser.
Yeah, they lose their life.
There are
Whether it's a
winners.
plant, a vegetable, another animal.
There are winners and losers in life.
Positive and negative everywhere you look, all the time.
There wasn't necessarily a consolation prize back in the caveman days.
Pretty brutal, pretty harsh.
So, what is dinner time a modern concept?
Probably. I don't do it. I mean,
You
I
don't.
just eat when I try not, no, I don't plan meals. And when my kids are around, I try to be more conscious of it, but it is hard because I don't live like that. I just eat when I'm hungry.
You live like a caveman.
I do. Oh, I was going to say, don't you think that this is just like a sparkly, shiny version of cavemandom?
What you're living in, and
No, society. I mean, does it really change that much? We still take, you know, from others and
right?
get up early. The early bird gets the worm.
Yes, yeah. We want to be better off than our neighbor, and we want to take more than we need.
Everyone from time immemorial has wanted to keep up with the Grog Joneses,
And the concept of dinner time
Mr.
is,
and Mrs. Grog Jones.
yeah, it's a concept that is kind of a selfish concept because you should just eat when you want to eat or when you
I
can eat.
That makes the most sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was thinking
Well,
that it's always dinner time back in the caveman days, and whenever you were able to have dinner, then you had dinner,
yeah, feast or famine, probably.
right?
I mean, eat when you can. You see that trickle down. I mean, I was raised on meals, actual meals, you know? Like my parents didn't just tell me to eat a handful of nuts in the evening and make my hunger go away, but that's what I do now. I mean, I don't tell my kids to do that. Well,
Right.
I have.
Just eat a handful of nuts then. It's like,
I
Dad,
mean,
I'm
it helps
hungry.
if you're hungry right now. That's something that you can do right now and it's healthy,
Hmm.
you know?
Oh,
And
it
then I'll
has to
make,
be healthy though. See, that's
well,
that's
it
another
should.
distinction. That's another distinction.
Eat some healthy nuts right now to stave off your hunger, get you some protein and probably some other good oils and stuff. And then in the meantime, I'll make you some chemically ridden ramen for a meal.
Right, right. I mean, it's a little smug in that, like, it's healthy. I mean, in the caveman days, they didn't really worry about if it were healthy or not. They ate what was around.
Probably everything was healthy in one way
Probably
or
so.
another.
Probably so. Yeah, I imagine it was.
They weren't finding microplastics in their table salt back then.
Mhm. It's the fault of the petroleum industry.
I suppose with every benefit we get, there's some downside to it. Again, positive and negative all the time. And
Is the
I don't think
petrol
you can escape the polarities
right? Okay. So the petroleum industry is the winner. The people who eat the microplastics, they're the loser.
in that sense.
The petroleum industry is the winner. My home being heated in the Arctic temperatures, I'm the loser.
Well, I mean, it it works on all levels. I mean, you got petroleum to heat your house. I'd say you're winning.
Mm. I've got
I mean,
petroleum to heat my house.
maybe the environment is a little
The
bit of a
environment's
loser.
the
I don't
loser.
know.
Yeah, yeah, the
Maybe.
environment's the loser.
Maybe
Right,
there's some exhaust that's not great.
right. And I'm not worried about the environment because I would have to personify the environment in order to be worried about it. And so maybe that's a good strategy for the environmentalists is to personify the environment, like to make a cartoon out of it. Say, hi, I'm the environment. And boy, I'm getting sick. I'm getting sick from all this petroleum in the air.
Put it on like Saturday morning cartoons.
Right. I'm getting sick from all these microplastics.
Hmm.
I'm getting sick from Garbage Island. I'm I'm
Right.
I'm getting sick from the oil polluters.
And now, kids, here's a list of the people who visited Garbage Island.
Right. Oh man, it doesn't have to be a person to be a loser.
No, it doesn't.
So I wonder then if the environment is hungry.
Well, the environment's pretty big. That's a pretty big concept. I mean, that's kind of vague. Don't
Mm.
you think there's lots of, environments, ecosystems, and like pieces of that puzzle that make up the environment
There's water, there's earth, there's air,
and fire?
and there's
You,
fire.
so you've got the four elements.
Right. Doesn't get much more simple than that.
That's astrology right there.
Astrology is the loser.
Compared to what's the winner? If astrology is the loser, what's the winner? The Catholic Church?
Science?
Because religion demonizes astrology to make
Mm.
it evil and taboo so that
Mm.
they can win.
Mm. Religion demonizes all kinds of things.
Sure. But especially the things that make clear and obvious sense to people, things that people have relied on for generations and generations. If you have a major change coming along, it really helps to rewrite that narrative and demonize the things that everyone was dependent on. Make it taboo, make it spooky and scary, evil. Write whole books about it. Well,
Um,
you're recording this one, so I guess you're editing it.
God damn it. But I'm the boss, and I just think about things to do.
I'm the loser again.
God dang it! If it relies on me to edit the episode,
Are you eating dog treats again?
well, I'm eating what I can
I'll
afford.
edit it
All
out.
right, I'm eating what I can afford,
That's what you got to do.
and
It gets tricky,
I was hungry, and so I decided I'm gonna eat something right now. That might help knock down the hunger.
Hmm.
You got a match?
Not on me.
You ever heard that joke?
I don't know.
The guy says, "You got a match?"
A match for what?
And then the dumb guy who he's asking says, "Yeah, I got a match. My face and your ass."
Oh, I thought it was going to be like my fist in your face or would make a
No,
good match. Any
that,
more dumb questions? Wise
right.
guy?
That's right.
Mine's cleaner.
But it's funnier that the joke is like that the dumb guy thinks he has the punchline and he
Right.
says, "Yeah, I
I
got a
get
match. My
right.
face and your ass."
Right.
Right? That's
My
funny.
my
That's
uh
good comedy.
my nanny grandma used to say she used to repeat a story of some politician I think said something 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 needs to get done and I'm just the son of a bitch to do it or something like that. She thought that was funny because he was insulting himself, insulting his
Right.
mom.
Right. That's good. That's like a Teddy Roosevelt kind of thing. I'm just the son
Probably.
of a bitch to do it.
Yeah,
Or
tough
if
guy.
Teddy Roosevelt wasn't a New York liberal, he might have said, "And I'm just the some bitch to do it," like that,
Yes.
right? If he were,
Yeah.
if he,
As he was loading people onto the bus to send them to Chicago,
mhm.
he'd sound more like that.
If he were Andrew Jackson, like counting his slaves for the day, he'd say, "And I'm just the some bitch to get it done."
Is that Andrew Jackson that looks a spitting image of Jeffrey Epstein, or is that Hamilton?
Hmm.
There's somebody on a bill.
Yeah.
I saw a picture recently, and
Well,
it's
I'd be more familiar with the Andrew Jackson bills than the Alexander Hamilton
oh,
bills.
that's a good. I don't know my bills very well, so it's Andrew Jackson that looks a spitting image.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I haven't ever really. I no, I've seen it. I've seen Jeffrey Epstein. I guess an image of him. I haven't seen him in person except that one time that you and I went to that party that he was throwing. Remember that?
That was the first time I met Bill Clinton and Donald Trump in the same room.
It was crazy. They were in the same room,
Yeah,
right?
those guys just they get us thinking that they're on different sides.
No, they're all on the same side.
They're just palling around all the time.
They're the winners.
Yeah,
The winners
ex-
all hang out. The winners all hang out together.
exactly. On Garbage Island.
That's right. I was uh, I was reading some emails from our listeners, and one of them had a suggestion based on a topic we were talking about, where one of the presidential candidates had recently said, "I think that the Civil War could have been negotiated," and it was implied by this presidential candidate that he's just the guy to do it. He could negotiate. He could have negotiated the Civil War. That's how good he was. Um, and we were talking about passive slavery, and maybe it could have been negotiated that the slaves agreed to be slaves. Then that would be a
I
way that we
remember
could.
that episode. Yeah.
So the listener's recommendation was no. There's another way that it could have been negotiated. It could have been negotiated by saying, "All right, you guys all just trade places for
If
like a
it's
year."
so great,
Yeah,
if you think it's such a great system,
yeah. Then you be the slaves for like a year, and then the slaves become the plantation masters for like a year, and then if that works out, then we don't have to have a civil war. You guys just kind of get on a rotation system.
wasn't there an element of that to Saturnalia in Rome back in the day?
They traded places all the time.
No, not all the time, but around Christmas time, around the winter solstice,
Hmm.
they had this festival Saturnalia, and it was like chaotic, and I think it was one of those times like a woman didn't want to be on her own out in public
Okay.
because anything went. Like the courts shut down, anything goes. It's like I've never seen any of these, but there's these movies called Purge or The Purge or something like that. I
Hmm.
just know that they exist. And the little bit that I've heard about them sounds like a Saturnalia festival.
Okay.
Like all the rules, the laws are null and void for I don't know how long, a couple
Eh,
days maybe. But I thought people traded places as part of that, like the If you were a servant or something, you got to prance around in the king's robes or something. But I might be mixing that up with something else.
If I were a beggar on the street, let's say, and then there were two stockbrokers who came by one day and said, "I'll bet you $1, Jeffrey, that we could make Tony successful in as a stockbroker, and then they might trade places like that and play that whole thing out, and maybe they replace the beggar guy. They replace the beggar with some well-to-do stockbroker, and they just and that's what happened. Or Freaky Friday would
One
be
minute, a well-to-do stockbroker's, high on the hog, living the life. The next moment, he's pulling a nasty turkey leg out of his beard.
right, right, like a drunken Santa Claus, like wandering around the.
Lowest of the low.
It would be as if in the real world, it'd be like if we traded places with Bill Clinton and Donald Trump for a couple of days, then we'd be at the party with Jeffrey Epstein.
But who's the real winner there?
Uh, Ghislaine Maxwell, is that what her name is?
But she's in prison.
Oh, well, maybe she could trade places then as well with somebody who's not in prison, and then they could put somebody else in prison.
I bet
Like
she'd be into that.
maybe she could trade places with Donald Trump, and then Donald Trump would be in prison, and then she could run for president of the United States, even though she's a convicted felon. I appreciate everybody's input on topics for Jerry and I to argue about, and I thought that was a good suggestion about trading.
Our listeners, our fans often have good suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
They're always writing in with great ideas, and I appreciate that stuff.
I do as well. I was just going to suggest that the listeners subscribe to Arguing with Tom and Jerry.
Oh yeah, it's crucial. It's
And
crucial that we beg for likes and subscriptions.
that is how we make our money. And that's the only way that we're going to be the winners instead of the losers. Right?
Yeah, but I was just thinking, I mean, are you then making the listener the loser? That's the
Mm-hmm.
last thing we want to do. That's the last thing I want to do.
Doesn't
I
bother
didn't
me.
get into this I didn't get into this business to turn people into losers. I want to elevate everybody.
Yeah. Well, I don't. I understand that's not why you got into
I
the
want to
business.
take everybody with me to Garbage Island
We're all going to Garbage Island.
together, hand in hand.
That's right. I was also hoping that the listeners would hit that like button.
Yeah,
You don't have,
that would be
you don't have a
that'd be
like
great.
button gag?
Oh, yeah. No, like okay, sorry, I forgot. Take the like button and put it in a wood chipper in Fargo. And this weather is reminding me of that, so that would be good. Like a red like button and put it in the wood chipper. Now your turn. Go.
Rub that like button. Rub that like button like you work at a Thai massage parlor. What's wrong with that one?
Nothing.
Or
You just it threw me for a loop.
or rub that like button like you're Pee Wee Herman at a movie theater.
Okay, I see where you're going here. Um, ugh, um, man, I wasn't prepared.
Piss on that like button like you're backstage at an R. Kelly concert.
Right, man, you're rolling. You're
Knock
like
it out
Dan
of the park.
Marino.
Like
Yeah, you're like Dan Marino in the zone right now. Can't miss.
that's all I got though.
Oh,
Unless
um,
I could come up with another piss on the like button.
I don't know. Our conversation was a little bit kind of positive and I liked it. And so it's hard for me to jump into that dark place out of
Understood.
nowhere.
I get it. That's okay. It's okay to be positive once in a while. We don't want to drag everybody down on this cold winter night.
Yeah, I don't have anything besides the obvious Fargo one. Just
All right. Well, I felt like I brought all the topics, and I
oh,
was
I mean, you could take
hogging.
a like button
Hmm.
and thinly slice it and put it in
Mm.
a dehydrator and make beef jerky out of it and eat it.
Make beef jerky out of that like button.
That's that's the best
I
I
like
can do.
I like that one.
Consume the like button.
Consume it.
That brings it full circle.